Your biggest risk of looking like you don't know what you're talking about, which is basically what this process is about, is to do a financial forecast based on hope. Okay, I'm on my way to see a business services company, so no tangible product. And why they want me to go is to talk about what I will call exclusion marketing, which means they have a very narrow, localized target area they want to be known in, and they don't want to be known outside that area. For a very good reason, which is if they get inquiries outside their target market, they still have to answer the phone, they still have to service them, even though they will not sell to those people, okay? It's a localized business. So they want to be very well known within 10-mile radius of where they are, and not known at all 11 miles outside of where they are. It's quite hard to do, but I will show them a method today that we've used before, which will enable that simple process to follow using offline and traditional techniques as well as online. I'll also explain why I have a plaster on my nose. Okay, I've left the business services company, and the first thing I need to make clear straight away is this is not going to be a video about marketing. I know I said it would. On the way to the meeting, in good faith, I thought we'd be talking about exclusion marketing, localized area. But we weren't, and this is why. I sit down with them. We start drinking our coffees, phone goes. And it's the fund manager of a grant scheme. About a month ago, we put in an application for this company to try and get a £30,000 grant to help pay for the property premises they were going to buy, planning to buy. Hadn't heard anything since. Phone goes. Project fund manager. Says you're through to the next stage. There's always two stages, right? You put in an expression of interest which says this is very briefly why I have a business case to apply for grant money. And then you get invited or you don't. You go to full application, which is the bulk of the work when you apply. And he said, you've been invited, but you have 7 days to get the full application in, which is a tall order. Take between 60 and 80 hours to put together a proper, robust business plan to apply for that sort of money. So we dropped everything. The opportunity is too large to stick to the plan, okay? That's a chance to have a third of your premises paid for by someone else. Because you're going to create employment, right? They just give you money. You've got to have a good business case and be able to create some employment and some wealth and, you know, put something back into the area. So we dumped the plan. Marketing, no. Full grant application, yes, and full speed ahead. Now, when writing a business plan, some of it is woolly, some of it is narrative, and some of it isn't. But when a funder looks at your business plan, your proposal, they are looking at one thing in particular. Can you deliver what you promise? Is it a viable business plan to deliver the growth and employment, the jobs, to let us, as the funders, take a risk and give you our money? When I say our, I mean the money that they are custodians of, responsible for, will be audited for. Is the business plan strong enough, makes a good enough business case that you'll deliver what you promise? That means there can't be any gaps. It means you have to preempt the questions. It means you have to put the information in your business plan, your application, full application, which says, before you ask me, I've already thought of it. That is how you give someone confidence, okay? Before you ask me about the hole in my plan, let me fill it in for you. I've already considered it, and this is the answer. That gives a funder a lot of confidence that you know what you're doing, because it shows that you are not, I was going to say an optimist, that's the wrong word. It shows that you're a realist, that you've considered pessimistically, realistically, and optimistically what you can achieve. It means you're not a dreamer. It means you consider things that can go wrong, and you show that you have thought of them, because it gives you as an entrepreneur, as a business, more credence. It shows that you look at what could go wrong, backed up by when and if it does, I'm ready. This is what I will do. That's a SWOT analysis, right? Which we did today. There are some things I have to do with the business. Strengths. What do I have that's good that I need to improve, to exploit and grow the company? What can I do? What can I achieve, right? realistically. Weaknesses, what do I need to improve urgently because my competitors are doing it right now? They're trying to catch me up. What are the areas of weakness that I must improve right now so that I can turn them into strengths and exploit them? Okay? They're internal looking, aren't they? What do I have inside my business which gives me an advantage, means I can achieve my promised growth and create these jobs for you as the funder? Weaknesses. I know, you don't have to tell me. I don't look like I don't know what's going on. That's the point, right? By identifying your own weaknesses, it shows that you know what's going on. There are no surprises. Surprises, funders' biggest fear. Then we look at opportunities and threats. The opportunities are, where's the growth going to come from? And you identify that. You put a timer on it. You know, you're realistic. I can get more growth from this market, which happened to be the Midlands, and I can do that this year. Their second market, Wales. I can't do that this year. I'll have to do it the following year because it's just not practical based on my business plan to make it happen. That gives you more credence because it says you don't go out there and say, I can do everything. I'm the best business. This market is so massive. I'm going to take the whole thing in 6 months, because it makes you look like you are not even optimistic, you know, beyond optimistic. Unbelievable. Okay. Then we put threats down. Threats, external things that can happen that can throw you off kilter, right? One is competition. So we put down competition, increased online competition for the service. That was one of them. Another was regulation, things that we can't control. They said fire, right? They run from their premises, and it's important they have access to their office and their security and their documentation all the time, right? Their materials, per se. Fire. I said, what would happen if there was a fire then? And they said, well, it's all over. You know, we can't come back from that. That it would take too much to get back into the market as a trading entity if there was a fire on our premises. Okay. So what we got there is, in terms of risk analysis, the second key element, right, of a grant application, risk analysis, is you've identified something that could throw the plan off course. My next question is, how likely is it to happen? And the answer is very unlikely. Touch wood. Fire, very unlikely. If it happens, what's the impact? So you've got likelihood, then you've got impact. What's the impact? High. Beyond high. Literally they said it was kill the business, right? And so what can you put in an application for a funder which says, I don't know if it's going to happen, probably not, but if it does, I can't do anything about it anyway. Well, you can show that you take precautions. So we have safety policies, safety inspections, backup of data, and you can put in a policy which says, you can trust us. We know this could happen, but we are taking every measure possible to prevent it. Give the funder confidence that you know what you're doing. Okay? Competition's an easy one. If you can identify a threat from competition that could change the plan, do something about it. That is a sales and marketing strategy, and as I said to them today, an aggressive sales and marketing strategy. Yeah? If you think your market is becoming more populated with competition, you need to address that, which means we do targeted competing. We advertise in their Twitter feeds. We advertise in their Facebook feeds. Aggressive marketing. Finally, the third key element is, if you make a forecast, it can't be fiction. It cannot be fiction. Your biggest risk of looking like you don't know what you're talking about, which is basically what this process is about, is to do a financial forecast based on hope. You cannot do that. Which means I need to make forecasts, which is a fiction, we all know it. 1 minute after I've done the forecast, anything could happen to make those figures unrealistic, which is why you should update your forecast. Like today. We didn't know that phone call was going to happen. Completely changed the whole plan. Anything can happen any time of day in business. But I need to put together a sales forecast based on science. It's fiction with fact. This is how much money I think I can generate in terms of sales. I think. I don't know. I think. And I'm basing it on last year's sales figures. how I understand my industry. In this particular case, buy in the summer, don't buy in the winter. Okay, different markets at play. Putting my prices up on this particular date. I have fiction with fact. I spell out the assumptions of where my sales figures come from so that before a funder asks, before a funder says, where did these numbers come from? How does this business arrive at these assumptions? And, you know, is it hope or is it fiction with fact? And that's what I did today for 3 hours. Produced a fiction with fact forecast, which if challenged, can be explained, can be sourced, the figures can be justified as much as you can when you do forecasting. No hope, okay? Don't use hope. Don't use overbelief. Fiction with fact. Finally, my nose. I had a fight with a lawnmower.